Welcome back to the SCIF. I am Matt. That's Stu. This is the Green Beret Life. We are a 501c3. Our mission is to help veterans, first responders, and their families. We do many, many things. A lot of it is shooting classes. A lot of it is outdoor type things, adventures outdoors. We've done archery. We've done a bunch of things. If you have an idea, get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us through the email. We'll broadcast it below at some stage. And I know we screwed up the email a while back, didn't we?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure that never would have happened on a quality production such as this.
I must be confused on that one. I apologize. So beyond that, we have you can see that Stu is still on the road, and you can see that I am broadcasting from the Southern Command down in sunny Florida here. So what do we have? What do we have in store for tonight's show, Stu?
We've got quite a bit. Let me move my mobile setup around here a little bit to make it a little easier to get to everything. Yeah, we've got quite a bit. Virginia and the Democrats as a whole are losing their ever-loving mind that their state Supreme Court said, I'm sorry, you can't violate the state constitution to get what you want. And now the Democrats are looking to retaliate. Spamberger's made some noise regarding the Electoral College and her disdain for the measures the founders put in place to ensure that the nation isn't, well, they didn't know at the time, but in effect today, that the nation isn't governed by California and New York. We're going to talk about that. There's another Democrat candidate that has had some dead voters and voters not in her district showing up on forms and her crap. I can't. What's the paperwork whenever they're trying to get put on a ballot? I lost my petition. Her all the signatures on her petition. She's had like 3,000 of them disqualified because they were either dead or didn't live in her district. So
I bet she never thought they would have even checked that shit.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We've got the DOJ that's taken out 25 Trinidad Aragua gang members and seized over 80 firearms and a stash of drugs of different.
Was it a stash?
Could have been.
What qualifies as a stash? Is there like a specific amount or something along those lines?
I don't know. I don't know if that's an official measurement, like a smidge or just a touch. It might be.
Is it similar to a stash ride?
I don't know. I've never thought about it. And then we've got your story with Iran and their underground tunnels and bunkers and caves and cities where they were storing things. We'll talk about that and what's come to be.
We have Pramila Jayapal in there too, don't we?
Who?
The Pramila Jayapal story.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sent this after I'd already checked for that. Yep. You've got
oh my goodness.
Yeah, you've got a couple of things here. Yep, I see it here. Representative Jayapal.
Do you guys see what I have to put up with? I hope you.
I know. I'm trying to get the show put together, and Matt's sending me things last minute. We'll be like, "What do you mean you didn't get it?"
Last minute. I sent you that this afternoon.
Let's see. My inbox says 8:06. I'm already setting the show up by then.
If I was on the West Coast, it would have been this afternoon, right?
Exactly.
Wouldn't have been this afternoon somewhere.
It is somewhere. It is somewhere. All right. What do you want to start out with first? You want to start out with your Iran story?
Yeah, we can start. I thought this was funny and interesting. because when it happened, I was scratching my head, right? Trump announced Operation Freedom, and they said, we're going to be escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So they initiate Operation Freedom, and they send what, 2 destroyers through? Was it 2 or 3? They sent 2 or 3 destroyers through. Immediately, the Iranians attacked them. This is where we sank 7 fast boats. There were some people who said 6, some people were saying 8, but I think it was 7 was the total number. A number of drones, and I think they fired a few anti-ship missiles as well that we took down with ease, everything. Okay, and then we escorted 2 American ships out, and then a halt or a pause was put on Operation Freedom. Shortly after, in response to the attacks, we launched a counterattack and destroyed a bunch of areas surrounding Bandar Abbas, and there's some other islands right off of Iran, right in the Strait of Hormuz that we also hit as well. And you didn't think much of it, but now it turns out that Iran has already been bragging in the past, right? Can we put up one of the can we put up the article?
Yep, I've got it coming up right here.
Yes. So Iran was bragging a while back about these huge underground, and they're right up on the shoreline, right? Underground facilities that they can launch these fast boats out of. They can store missiles under there and their drone fleet as well. And obviously it's away from satellite imagery or anything else. So what came out here recently, and what it seems is that this whole operation with the destroyers going through the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians took the bait. And what they were doing is trying to see where these things were launched from. I'm sure they had an idea. They wanted to be sure and double check on where these things were launched from. And it looks like we destroyed a bunch of these caverns and networks to where they can't get the equipment out of them anymore. So as soon as they launch one of these fast boats, we see it. So, yep. Stu, there's a YouTube channel I watch. It's a former F-15 pilot called Max Afterburner. Have you ever seen this?
Mm-mm.
You ought to watch it because he is kind of a dork, but in a good way. He's like a nerd. Okay, he's a fighter pilot nerd. Are there any other types of fighter pilots, Stu? Because that's how I view what they are.
No, there's some pretty cool ones out there. I had one when I was crew chief. He was Captain Morgan.
Okay, Captain Morgan. Did he pose before he got on?
Yeah, he'd put his foot on the ladder. He'd do the pose.
Nerds can be cool. I mean, I hang around with you, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so nerds.
That is true.
Cool. But he's got a great channel. If you haven't seen it, go watch the channel. He makes these really stupid jokes while it's a good channel. But he gets into the technical because he's obviously very, very familiar. How an AWACS plane operates and the equipment that we have. And some of the stuff that came out, we were taking down these drones with 2 different types of lasers that were deployed apparently for the first time in combat, right? There is a specific laser from the destroyers. We have lasers that basically fry the computer on the drone or the missile or whatever it is. So it screws up the guidance system. They usually just either fall into the water or fly off into oblivion because they're now blind, right? We also have lasers that are actually destroying the equipment, right? Which is pretty awesome when you hear the fact that you don't have to reload lasers, right? So you don't need to constantly need a resupply of munitions and everything else. So the fact that we're using equipment like this right now is pretty impressive. Right?
Yeah, JG says he's watched, he's seen Max Afterburner. He knows the show. Yep.
So
he's familiar.
Does he have the same outlook on his nerdosity as I do?
He didn't say, but probably.
it's a great channel, but the guy's full of information. And some of the stuff that you learn on this is the capabilities of what these things do. And when one of those AWACS planes, and this is just one of the tools in the arsenal that we have, when that's up there, as soon as they launch these things, we know exactly where it's at, and that's immediately communicating with all air assets, whether it be F-18s, F-15s from the Air Force, F-16s, everything, helicopters, Apache helicopters, which apparently were used to take out these fast boats at the time. But everybody's talking one of the perfect planes that seems to be always on the chopping block but keeps being brought back, which is the Warthog. So I remember, because at Pope, that's where they used to fly A-10s out of Pope. And when I was going through the Q course, when we still were on Bragg, it was before they did everything at Camp McCall, right? So when we were on Bragg, you'd see those things taking off every morning. I mean, every morning, just right above us. And they're badass. There's no other way to put it. Why would they even be on the chopping block unless they had something better to replace it? And I don't know what you could, because these things are brutal on ground forces, and they move. I mean, when you say you could probably get it done with a helicopter, but these things move a hell of a lot faster than a helicopter, and are quite more agile than a helicopter. Helicopters are incredible, right?
Yeah, whenever I was deployed, I went out with combat controllers that were doing a training exercise. We went out with them, and they were actually calling in A-10s to do strikes as part of a training exercise on deployment. And man, that was ridiculous.
We had combat controllers assigned to us when we would go out, but we did have jets before for close air support, but we had helicopter, usually Apache and whatnot. But that's actually the JTAC version. Now, our captain on our team had gone through that course, and he was very capable of doing this, but that's not a job I would ever want. For the simple reason is you could smoke your whole team. You could smoke your whole team if you were not on point with that shit. So a lot of respect for the guys that do that. And combat controllers are pretty versatile. They kind of get lost, JTACs and combat controllers, when you hear special operations units, but they're pretty much with every ODA and every SEAL team that's out there. There's combat controllers or just straight up JTACs with all of them. Now, of course, all combat controllers are JTAC qualified, but that Robert Chapman, was that his first name? Was it Robert? The one where all the controversy is around, that looks like the SEAL team left.
No, the one where the SEAL team left him behind, and then
it sure looks that way.
Got medals for it, and then tried to.
There's a lot of people that are saying that the story that we've been told is not the real story. I hate not having the real story, but boy, they got full ISR of the whole thing, and it sure as shit looks like he is still in action. So that's a JTAC that was assigned to a SEAL team, right there.
JG said it was Matt Chapman was the name.
Was it Matt Chapman? Okay.
Yeah.
But these guys are straight up special operators, and they are very, very good. I think sometimes they get lost in the shuffle, talking about all the other special operations units we have out there, but they're almost on every one of these missions. If there's a SEAL team, or if there's an ODA, they're out there with them. So anyways, but this whole thing looks like it was a big ruse. We got a couple American ships out, but it was a big ruse, and the Iranians took the bait, and we pounded them. And I always thought that was funny, is why we made such a big deal about it. And then it was over after we handily took whatever they threw at us with the drones, the missiles, and the fast boats. We handily took it down. So one of the things that I'm finding real funny about this whole thing is you actively have Democrats right now, and the media out there putting out, some of it might be real information, some of it's false information, but it doesn't matter. They're out there putting out information, trying to make it look like we're low on our stockpile. It's bullshit.
Well, that wasn't an issue as long as it was going to Ukraine, though, right? That was noble.
Well, what they're doing, Stu, is even worse than this. They're giving aid and comfort to the Iranians because they want this to draw out. The longer this does not get resolved, they want to wait and wait. They still think they have a chance of stealing. I'm going to say stealing, okay? They still think they have a chance. I take back the stealing. We're on YouTube, right? They still have it. They think they still have a chance of winning the midterms. Okay,
right.
They do that. They're going after Trump. They're going after us. Believe me, everything bad for this country will come.
If they take the midterms within 3 months, they'll have impeachment charges for something against Trump
and anybody who was with Trump.
Yes,
you name it. Okay, our country is going to be in dire straits if that's the case. But these people are out there actively working to give aid and comfort to the enemy. And Senator Kelly, who used to be a Republican, who was he a Navy officer? He was Navy, wasn't he?
Mark Kelly?
Mark Kelly, yeah. He was a pilot.
No, I think the astronaut guy?
Yeah, was he in Air Force or was he in Navy?
I think he was Air Force.
I thought he was Navy, but him and his brother, he's got a twin brother, right? But this guy will not go away. He's done this on multiple times. He was in part of that whole crew that was out there stating that
No, you're right. He was Navy. He was Navy. I apologize to the Air Force.
Soldiers should disregard orders coming from the Trump administration. I mean, this is insane. This guy, why are they allowed to get out there? Barack Obama's up there meeting with that clown Carney in direct violation of the Logan Act.
Isn't that what they got Flynn for? Isn't that what they ran him through the ringer for?
It wasn't Flynn. They got Paul Manafort on that. Right?
No, I thought it was Flynn for talking to those people.
No, what they got Flynn on was a process crime where he didn't know something. So, and him not know it, Comey bragged about going over there while the administration was just getting, trying to transition in, and they were all disorganized. So he bragged about sending people over there to see what they could do. And what he did is they asked him a bunch of questions, that dates and whatnot, that he couldn't, some of them maybe not have been 100% correct. So they said, oh, well, you lied to us. You lied to us, right? And then when he fought this, because it was all bullshit, they threatened to go after his son.
Yeah.
And when he threatened to go after his son, he didn't want his son to go through all this bullshit. He fell on the sword for doing nothing. Yeah. And it was because he was the head of the NSA under Obama. He knew where the bodies were buried. He still does.
Yeah.
This is why he's a big threat to them. So this is what Comey's out there. Now he's claiming to be a victim, yet he was bragging about doing this to Flynn. So whatever happens to Comey, and why do you know Comey's daughter was the one that was prosecuting the Epstein trial? Did you know this?
Oh, really?
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't that interesting?
People falling for this Epstein nonsense. If you think that the Biden administration and the deep state that ran the Biden administration were going to let the Trump administration get all of those records, you've got to be high on crack.
Well, that's one thing I've done when everybody's like, oh, Trump's in the Epstein files, Trump. I'm like, so do you really think that the Biden administration sat on that for 4 years through the election, everything, and nothing leaked out about that when they subbed in Kamala Harris at the 11th hour and she was, sinking like a ship taking on water? They didn't bring any of that out, that there's anything there.
Do you know why
Democrats would do anything to stay in power?
Do you know why he's in the Epstein files? Because he worked with the FBI and was the first high-profile person to say something's dirty about this guy.
Yeah, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, banned him from the property.
Yep. Way back when.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The Democrats push false narratives. They do this on purpose. They find something that they think will take with the public because there's idiots out there who don't think beyond their nose. Okay. On both sides, by the way. And the other one is that Netanyahu tells Trump what to do. If anybody believes anybody tells Trump what to do, you're also high on crack.
Well, but wait, I thought it was Putin that told Trump what to do.
Yeah,
And then it was Netanyahu, but then it was Zelensky.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it doesn't matter. It's insert person of the day.
It's so funny because it looks like the Ukraine war might be over. Okay, and the media is not talking
about that, but I didn't dig into it.
The media is not talking about Trump helped orchestrate this 3-day ceasefire, and then Putin came out and basically gave a speech and was sort of implying that the war was going to be over, and he thanked Trump, right, for being involved. Trump is a businessman. He's not a politician. These politicians do not hold a candle to what a successful businessman can do as far as negotiation, because they see the whole field, every little thing, even like this head fake with this that we were just talking about with the Strait of Hormuz. He is 10 steps ahead. So you do this, you announce it, you use the media against themselves to go out and push all of this, right? And then you find out exactly where they're launching this shit from, and you hit it, right? And you keep taking another card away from them and another card away from them, and then you wait. And now they're dumping oil from Karg Island into the Persian Gulf. Did you know this?
No, we had talked about it, though, that they will have to start dumping it.
Satellite imagery of oil slicks coming right off of Karg Island. There's no question, right?
Yeah.
So now they're trying to rush the Strait of Hormuz with tankers, which were dropping precision-guided munitions right down the smokestacks of these ships. That's what we did with an F-18, right down. Yeah. And we have it on ISR, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing the technical side. Stu knows a lot of the technical side of the Air Force stuff too. So you should watch some of these Max Afterburner things and explain this in more detail.
Because I'll have to go look at his.
Yeah, because he's definitely got some good stuff on there. And but this leads us into, we were just talking about Barack Obama, we were talking about Mark Kelly, and all of these politicians on the left doing things to intentionally hurt our war effort. This should jump right into Jamila Prypal and our other favorite, Ilhan Omar. One of the things we're doing, Cuba gets all of their oil from Venezuela, okay? And it was primarily donated, right? And then what Cuba would then do is take a portion of that oil and turn around and sell it on the open market, right? And pocket the cash for it, right? So now with Trump's brilliant plan of what we did in Venezuela, they're not getting any oil from Venezuela anymore. And who else got a shitload of oil from Venezuela? And Iran. Who do you think? Who do you think got 90% of Iran's oil? China, right? So now Trump is over in China with a big delegation, including Elon Musk. Including Tim Cook from Apple, right? He's got Larry Fink from BlackRock, that guy. But anyways, for the guy who didn't have a plan, all of this stuff is seeming to fall into place to where
it does seem to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, we do a military deal with Indonesia in the Straits of Malacca, giving us military access to the Straits of Malacca, where China ships the rest of the oil they're not getting from other places through, right? So it's like, holy shit, you control the energy, you control everything, right?
That's it.
We'll gladly sell China oil. We'll gladly sell it, right? So anyways, with Cuba's not getting any oil. Cuba, as Marco Rubio stated, is run by communists that are not only communists, but incompetent communists, which is about as bad as you get, because their economic policies, their economic policies are driving that place straight into the ground. And without oil, they're going to collapse. They're going to collapse. And if you pay attention to what Trump is doing, right? Trump is taking over. Instead of looking globally and trying to put out fires all over the world, he's trying to control our hemisphere, and he's got it
Yeah.
almost locked up, except for that mess that happened down in Brazil with that Lula who was sprung from jail and somehow beat the guy who was getting 1 million people at his rallies and was then subsequently thrown in jail, right? I'm talking about Bolsonaro. And anybody who went out and protested the election was, guess what happened to them? Can you imagine? They were thrown in jail. Does that sound familiar? Right? Does that playbook sound familiar? Because it's happening.
See, that's exactly where the United States focus should have been for the past decade, is in our own hemisphere.
Correct. But see, Trump isn't a politician. Trump is a businessman, hence a tactician, right?
Yeah.
And the people he surrounds him with are the same way, right? Do you think this guy Scott Bessent is going to get played by anybody that has to do with anything financial? Hell no, he is not. This guy is so sharp, and the guys he's got with him take no bullshit either. If you see the way they handle, I tell you, Pete Hegseth has done a killer job. Watch him handle these assholes in Congress and the Senate. They're taking no bullshit, and this is what the American people want to see, because these people in Congress and in the Senate are not popular. They're not popular at all. And the people that Trump has surrounded himself with this time around are excellent. You're going to see, we got a story later on that OMG has highlighted. There are still little snakes that sneak in to staff within the White House, but we're going to stick on this Pramila Jayapal. Pramila Jayapal, right now, as we are pinching Cuba to get that government to collapse, right? Pramila Jayapal is trying to work deals with Russia and other countries, okay, to get in there. Her and Ilhan Omar. Okay, scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. So I want everybody to know who Pramila. Don't nope, the other way. Nope, other way. Go. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Right there.
Yeah.
That's Pramila Jayapal. Let me tell you who Pramila Jayapal is. She wasn't born here. Okay, she was born in India, raised, I believe, in Indonesia. Came here as a student and went to Northwestern, right? Then went to work for one of the big, I think, banks or hedge funds, maybe Coldwell Banker. I'm not sure. Okay. And she's been involved with activism since she set her feet on our shore. Involved in activism so much that she led a group that went after George Bush, the junior, not the senior, and got George Bush. I heard the original number I heard was 400,000, but it can't be that many. That's got to be a wrong number. Who was going to send back Somalis, okay, before this whole mess has happened in Minnesota, in Maine, in Tennessee, right, with the whole Somali grift that we've all seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? She sued the administration and won, which kept these Somalis here, thousands and thousands of Somalis in the United States. This woman did this as a student, fresh from overseas, and now she has no, like, as far as I know, historical connection to the state of Washington. But I think the Democrat Party saw this little Marxist as an opportunity, and they placed her where they know
put her where they needed her.
Yeah, this is my guess how they did this. Okay. And so she is a representative from Washington State, and she is a 100% a complete disaster. Now, I don't know. Stu had told me that she thought this woman had an accident when she was a child and ran into the back of a bus. I can't confirm that ever happened. Stu, where did you get the information on it?
It's the word on the street. I mean, all I can do is repeat what I've been told.
Okay. But anyways, oh, this poor woman, I actually kind of feel sorry for her here. But anyways, that being said, right? Quit being so shallow, Stu.
Sorry.
Yeah. This woman here is actively working against the interests of the United States, and she is a naturalized citizen. Now, there's some rumblings that she may be getting herself in a little bit of trouble here, okay? Because you cannot go and actively undermine what our government is trying to do militarily. You cannot do that. That's called treason in our country. I don't know what it's called, where she comes from. This woman did not come here to become an American. And this is my opinion. Okay. But if you look at the history and everything she's done and everything she stands for, do you think she's really concerned with the best interest of our country? No, I don't. Okay. That's my opinion. It's just an opinion. But this is what's going on. And Ilhan Omar is another one who's been the same thing. She's been a grifter since she came here.
Oh, been neck deep in it, nothing but a grifter and an activist with no care whatsoever for the United States as a whole.
And when you look at her dad was committing war crimes in Somalia, and then they hid out because his side lost the civil war there, and they hid out inside a migrant camp and were brought here to the United States and given everything. And what have they done? They've taken and cheated and lied and stolen, and now we have what you see we have, right?
Yep.
So these two are working against the United States interest, and you think this woman with as much trouble, I'm talking about Omar, that she's already in, you think she would have the common sense to maybe lay a little low? No. So I think Barack Obama up there violating the Logan Act, and these two lovely individuals basically committing treason as far as I'm concerned, right? Something needs to happen here, because we can't allow this. And we can't allow senators to go out there and use the propagandist media to send comfort signals to our enemy, Iran, which is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, JG pointed out that it came out Ilhan Omar's dad was part of the slave trade.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you see that thing I sent out by Matt Walsh? Did you see it? I sent it to our email or our texting chat. Okay. If you guys have not seen this, go watch Matt Walsh's special. And I'm going to say I'm not the hugest fan of Matt Walsh, but this special is excellent. Okay. Go watch his special on slavery and the history of slavery. There was stuff in there I thought I knew. Your mind will be blown when you listen, when you go and watch that. And the special is not very long.
Matt, that's racist.
Oh yeah. Wait till you see how many. Just go read that. Go watch that. You're going to be blown away if you get a chance. Do we have any comments we need to get to, Stu, before we move on?
I've been reading them as they've come up for the most part. He said he was talking about Nick Shirley was right on Cuba, and he said Cuba's a communist country with no oil, no freedom, and no hope.
Yeah.
And Freedom thinks we should put Nick up for the Pulitzer Prize for journalism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy's been attacked. He's just a kid, too. He's been attacked. He's dug stuff up that no other media seems to have been interested enough to dig up, which it looks like.
Oh, no, it wasn't that they weren't interested enough to dig up. It would paint their preferred group in a bad light, so they just conveniently ignored it.
Correct. That's exactly correct. Nick Shirley. And do you remember some of the bullshit that Gavin Newsom was throwing at him?
Oh yeah.
I think they ought to follow Trump's lead. You know, when they do this nonsense, sue them. Even if the lawsuit doesn't go anywhere, there should be some conservative organization pro bono suing Gavin Newsom on behalf of Nick Shirley. And we need to play their game and beat them. Trump beats them every single time. How many media outlets has Trump sued and won? How many lawsuits has Trump won? I mean, pretty much almost every one he's gotten into as of the last 2 years. Yeah.
Because was it CBS that had to pay him a whole bunch of money?
And then he donates the money. He's putting the money into a library. He's donating the money to other. It's the guy doesn't take a salary, works his ass off for the United. Obviously, he's the hardest working president we've ever had, right? Doesn't take us. And then you hear all this bullshit about Trump from the left. It's all lies, misinformation, obfuscation, and more lies. That's what it is. It's propaganda spin. So we have elements within the media and within our governing class that are definitely, I feel, committing serious crimes against our country.
Yep. JG says he's had 7 wins.
Yeah.
Trump has.
Yeah. So this is typical example. JG's got all the information right there.
Dude, at his fingertips, I'm talking about.
The people who listen to our show, what they bring is unbelievable, unreal. It's kind of like having a version of Grok.
JG's AI. You heard it here first, folks.
There you go.
The next story we have here, we had talked about it in the opening of the show, and we talked about it last week with Virginia going in and redistricting their congressional districts. Well, the state Supreme Court came and said, no, you can't do that. That requires a congression or a constitutional, as part of the Constitution, the way we do that.
Well, what I think they violated was the fact that they had to pass it, and then it had to go to referendum, and then it had to go through, I think, 2 election cycles according to their Constitution, and it didn't do any of this. And they knew
there was a whole constitutional process for changing it. The Democrats were like, oh, rules, those don't apply to us.
Exactly.
So they pushed it through. Well, then the Supreme Court came back and said, no, that's unconstitutional. That can't stand. So the Democrats were like, you know what, Supreme Court, you're absolutely right. We apologize. We're going to do things the right way. We don't want to win by deceit or by false action. But no, that's not at all what they said. What they said was, oh, we're going to pass a law to make it mandatory that the state Supreme Court justices must retire at 54 years old, and then we're going to restock the Supreme Court with justices that will pass will pass the bills we want them to pass. That's what they did. Are you kidding? 54 years old, mandatory retirement at 54. And you know why, Matt? Because that's the age of the youngest one on the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This highlights what they are, and this highlights what they'll do to our country if they get full control.
Yes,
they'll make Puerto Rico a state. They'll make Washington D.C. a state. They'll strip the whole Supreme Court. They'll put 15, 20 people on the Supreme Court. They will manipulate everything to make us a banana republic. This is what banana republics do. This is what foreign countries that are run by communist dictators do.
Well, look at what you were just talking about Brazil.
Yeah. This is what countries that are run by corrupt leadership does. And they're going to sit there and tell you anything about the Trump administration. Anything. There's somebody that showed up on this is no bullshit, Stu. I just saw this today. That guy, Kevin O'Leary from
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, they brought him on, and he was debating with a guy who thought that this districting, the districting that was done via race, which is completely unconstitutional, completely, that got overturned. But they're going to get their people all spun up on the left, right? This guy was arguing against O'Leary that he didn't think blacks were going to be able to vote anymore. That's what he thought this all meant on CNN. This is what he thought.
Wow.
So,
their best and their brightest, right? Top men.
Holy smokes. The propaganda. First of all, this is sad because the media outlets that these people are getting their information from, and I say these people, I'm talking about the Democrats who follow it, people that are left of center and get their news from the mainstream media, right? This is what they're getting. They're thinking that this is what's going on. And the reason they probably think this is because they've been led to believe this to get them spun up. I don't know if you saw the Tennessee state legislature taking abuse when they came out. This is all the opposite of racism. You cannot use race. Okay. So right now, the way that was drawn in 1965 or whenever they did this, right? It was to basically say that blacks could be led by a black individual. Well, the only district in Tennessee that was gerrymandered this way, was Memphis. And who did they have representing them in Memphis?
A white man.
A Jewish
white man.
Yes, exactly. And over the black woman that ran against him, right?
And you know what, Matt? The black woman who was a what?
Fill me in.
Republican.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they're not going to tell you that.
No. So it is, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. I didn't know it was. I thought that was a woman who ran against him in the Democratic primary.
No, the one that was running against him, she's a black Republican.
Oh,
so what the news story is telling you is they're taking away the only majority minority district in Tennessee and taking away their representation. Not telling you that representation is a white man and the one that's going to be represented now is going to be a black female. No, we're not going to. No, shh, don't say that. That doesn't fit the narrative.
Well, this whole deal that they've done. Okay, this falls into that thing on slavery that I'm telling everybody go and watch. The misinformation that has been pumped into this country is unreal. The whole 1619, all of this bullshit.
Oh, the 1619 project.
All of this nonsense. It's what kids are being taught in school now. The whole 9 yards. It's propaganda. It's not our history, right? And it's all done in order to facilitate. I mean, ask if you go into the inner city of, say, Memphis, okay, and you were to take a poll, okay, who pushed the Civil Rights Act? Republicans or Democrats? Who opposed the Civil Rights Act? Republicans or Democrats? What answer do you think you would get?
Oh, they're going to tell you the Republicans opposed and the Democrats pushed it.
Exactly. That's what you're going to get.
But Matt, what you don't understand is at some point the parties flipped.
Yeah.
We don't know when that happened, but that's a Democrat talking point.
Yeah,
at some point.
Flipped.
Yeah, just flipped.
When you see too bad that there's not like secret recordings of Lyndon Johnson. Backroom deals when they were hatching their plan, right? But in all fairness, okay, it's not because people believe these things. They've been taught this. They've been taught this bullshit, right? And so that's a breakdown in the whole government system. It's a complete breakdown from all the way down to the teachers union, which I contend is one of the biggest problems we have in this country, because they took a very noble profession and turned it into a profession that's dominated by radicals, Saul Alinsky type Marxist radicals. That's what it is.
To continue, I guess Virginia's our new Michigan or Minnesota for right now, because they're not satisfied with just mandatory retiring the Supreme Court and packing it with their people. What she's also wanting to do is Spamberger.
Yeah, Spamberger. Yeah.
Is basically wants to pass the popular vote pact, which basically states that all of Virginia's Electoral College votes will go to the candidate that wins the popular vote.
Completely unconstitutional again. They don't care. The Constitution means nothing to these people.
And again, I know I'm not telling our audience anything, our regular audience, but just for someone that may stumble across the show that may not realize, the Electoral College was what the framers put in place to, in effect today, it prevents California and New York from running the United States, because those are two of the most population dense areas in the country. So that's what they did to give every state.
What else do those two states have in common? They're 100% Democrat, both of them.
Yeah.
But what else do they have as far as their leadership is concerned? Not technically population, but what else do those two states have in common?
You mean besides the corruption? They're
corrupt. They're bankrupt. They've got no money. They're the most poorly run states in the country.
And the Electoral College is what prevents those states from controlling the rest of the United States. That's what gives smaller populated states like Wyoming, Colorado, North Dakota. It gives them a voice. And by bypassing that, they're saying that their vote doesn't count. And if Virginia, as voters, vote for one candidate, but that the other candidate gets the majority of the popular vote, Virginia's saying, their government's saying, we don't care who you voted for. Your vote does not matter. It's going to this other person.
This ghoul right here, is in a complete abomination. She is a complete disaster. And this is what somehow got elected into Virginia. Primarily, we were talking about it. What's the county Arlington is in Virginia?
Oh, Loudoun County.
Okay, Loudoun County. I believe Loudoun County is the wealthiest county in the world, by the way.
Yes.
Why would that be? It's all full of government employees and contractors. That's your taxpayer money, folks. Your taxpayer money. And that's the county that when they redistricted everything, it looked like a pizza pie, basically going up into Arlington, right? So every single district got a piece of Arlington in them with that population base of that radical leftist filth, right? Because that's what it is. They're rich, radical leftist filth who doesn't give a shit about the little guy, whatever they say. They could care less about. They will use the little guy as a means to their end, but they're the ones who want to stay in control. This is just, see this mess up here? Oh, look at that. Every single one of these things.
Right here is where Loudoun County is. So like Matt said, you can see District 11, District 7, District
10,
District 1, District 8. All of these districts run up in there to get a portion of that vote, and then it runs down here into the more sparsely populated rural areas. So that little sliver up there in Loudoun County is going to overwhelm all the population down here in these other areas. That's the intent of it.
Show what the state normally looks like. You can see it up in the upper right hand corner. This is what they've done. This is what they've done. So that little sliver down there, that's Arlington, Northern Virginia, which is a suburb of DC, right?
And as you can see, at one point, this was its own district. There were two districts right here that was basically Loudoun County. Well, then they took, let me see, I don't think, okay, it doesn't. Well, then they took and they said, okay, instead of that one little district up there, we're going to make it basically influence 4 to 5 other districts by segmenting it that way. So you can't tell me that whenever you redraw your districts that go from a 7 Republican to 4 Democrat to 1 Republican and 10 Democrat, it's not gerrymandered and based on party lines to give one party power over another.
Where's Charlottesville? Because it's this next one. That's where the universities are. Charlottesville. Is this based off of Richmond, or is this Charlottesville? This blue area in the lower right hand corner.
I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with all of Virginia and where things are.
So basically, Virginia is a red state, with the exception of the suburban, and then they've also flooded it with illegals.
Well, again, Matt, you can see it's obvious that it's a red state. Yeah. Whenever you got this here with things blocked off, it's a red state. As soon as you take and say, oh, we're going to make everything come off of Loudoun County, it turns it blue. So that tells you where all of the blue is right there. It's in Loudoun County.
Yeah, completely.
And they're using that to flip the entire state. But that's like other northeastern states. I think is it Connecticut? I may be getting the state wrong, but there is 0 Republican districts in the state. How are you telling me there are no Republicans in that state?
Massachusetts, or is it Connecticut?
It might be Massachusetts.
Both of them are radical leftist states. But, yeah. And the thing is, they've gerrymandered these states so badly already. Virginia was traditionally a red state, right? So it didn't get the gerrymandering treatment. all of these other states have been gerrymandered so badly way back in the past, they can't do shit to them right now. So as Republicans are making things the way they should be, right? They're accusing the Republicans of what they do. Yet once again, Eric Swalwell making all of these comments that were all bullshit about Trump, right? And then going out and there's pictures of him with naked hookers and other men in the room with his hands all over them, right? This piece of garbage who basically had a Chinese spy and that was funding his campaign from when he was an alderman, I believe, or a council member or something, all the way up into Congress, right? This individual is out there pointing the finger at everybody, and look at what he's doing. It's what they do. They will accuse you of what they do. Remember when Tom Tillis had Madison Cawthorn basically lose his election, and we got a Democrat in his place in North Carolina, because what did Madison Cawthorn do? He let the cat out of the bag about these parties that were going on with congressmen and senators. That if the public found out about these things, holy shit, Tom Tillis couldn't have that. You know?
Yep.
And
he was run out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah. And now Tom Tillis is voting like a Democrat, right? Because like the true rhino he is, and he's retiring because there's nothing anybody can do to him. So he's going to hold up everything he possibly can. So this is why we got to be careful when we don't put rhinos in these places. So,
well, the last story we have here, we had talked about it. We have a Democrat that was getting petitions for a nomination, and this was in New York, and she had 5,258 signatures invalidated. 90% of her 5,258 signatures have been invalidated. 3,000 of those signatures were people who did not even live in the district or were not registered to vote. And there were at least 3 signatures were of dead people. Or I'm sorry, 2 of them was a dead person. One of them was a 99-year-old woman that wasn't even in the area whenever she supposedly signed the petition.
Is that the candidate right there?
That is, Matt. That is the candidate.
You've got to be kidding. New York.
Of course, New York.
You know what? New Yorkers get what they deserve.
I'm firm believer in that.
I mean, they took down the trade towers and they put a mosque right across the street. And New Yorkers helped push that through.
Yeah.
They don't quite understand what they're saying by that, but the symbolism for Islam is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, they conquered.
Yeah, this is insane. And in New York, you have some foreign-born dancer who's throwing people down steps and threw a woman down like a week ago, and she didn't want to press charges because she didn't want another black man put in prison. And just the other day, he threw a man, a 75-year-old man, I believe he was 70, it was 70 to 75, down the step and killed him. And then he laughed about it in court, right?
Jesus.
This is what we've got going on in New York. And any police, because the story came out today that a cop said something about Mandami, he's been reassigned, right? Where's the police union in New York? Where's the police union over the years since they've had New York or New York police sit back while they have snowballs thrown at them, illegals beat them up, water thrown on them, the whole nine? Where is the union?
Well, the union's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It's getting Democrats elected.
Yeah.
You thought the union was to support the police officers?
Yeah, exactly. That police union of 40,000 police officers, okay, which is roughly what New York has real power. And they could teach. This kid, Mandami, has never done a thing in his life except appear in a couple of his mom's Disney films. He went to all the best schools, $90,000 a year elementary schools, and all of this bullshit, right?
And look how fucking stupid he is. It's like, it didn't take.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. And so for the city of New York, the largest city in the United States, to elect a kid with zero experience, but a lot of virtue signaling, okay, is really something. And to go and even contemplate electing what we're seeing right here. This is America.
Well, again, well, I was going to say it's not 100% on the residents of New York, but they're the ones that have voted in people that have allowed this stuff to happen. But it's the unchecked immigration, both legal and illegal, that have come in that has completely diluted the vote of the American citizen with ties to the country. Because if you've got first generation, I can't even call them Americans because they're not, in the sense that they don't believe in this country and what it stands for. Mm-hmm. They're Americans by certificate only. They do not care for what this country stands for. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you, if you were to listen to any of this person's statements, it would be about how horrible America is and how things should change, and we need to do more for immigrants and bring more people in. She doesn't care about the country.
No.
And that's what lesson. These people are Americans by certificate only.
You know, Stu, I've been distracted. Okay. So see these two other stories here? Scroll up, scroll down. Scroll down the other way. Okay. This story right here. This is the guy who ran on the runway and got sucked up by the jet engine. Do you see that right there? Is he an illegal? Is he an illegal alien?
Let's see. Michael Mott. I would say that.
He looks legit. He jumped the fence.
Pueblo native. That doesn't mean much. The way they.
He ran in front of. That's the same dude right there?
Yeah, that's him. 20 arrests in Colorado dating back to 2002. So he's been arrested at least once a year for the past 20 years.
Okay, and the other story, he's obviously, this dude's a brain surgeon here, ran in front of a taxiing jet's engine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he got sucked into the engine, and I think Colorado's, oh my Lord. Okay, here's the other one. In Cambridge, Massachusetts, scroll down. Right there, that story, right there. This guy right here, right? This guy had been charged on firearms charges multiple times. And did he end up killing those two people?
It just says he opened fire, but he was convicted of trying to kill a cop years earlier. Yeah, armed assault with intent to murder in 2021, 1 year after he fired 13 rounds at Boston officers.
And this dude was let out over, and he had another one with massive criminal history, let out over and over and over and over again, right? And this is what we get. So this guy did.
Yep. Prosecutors recommended a 12-year prison sentence with 5 years probation. However, the judge handed out a 5 to 6 year sentence with 3 years probation, despite the fact he was already on probation for a 2014 assault conviction.
But they're going to use this as gun violence, legitimate gun violence. Let's see if
they'll use this to take your guns away.
Do they show a picture of the judge?
That's her on the side there. I don't know. Yeah, that's her.
There you go.
She looks miserable.
Yeah, she looks like a real pleasant individual, right? You know, yeah, she's
fun at dinner parties.
There's her. She's impartial, and she's really trying to dole out justice for the best interest of the American people, right?
Yeah.
There is another story I sent you. I just want to show. It's a video. It'll take 20 seconds that I sent you, Stu. It's not the OMG one. We can talk about that at a different time. But I sent you, this woman threatened Trump. You've got to see this woman. You've got to run this video. Do you see it?
All right, just a second.
She's the perfect representation of the modern Democrat Party.
Whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, play that video. What the hell, Bobby?
All right, hold on a second. I've got to redo the chair here.
Stu, go, what the hell, Bobby?
What the hell? All right, let's see. Let me
King of the
share
Hill.
this.
You guys don't know that Stu did the voice for King of the Hill, do you?
All right, let me know if you can hear this.
Last warning.
Can hear it.
Barron will be executed. For every day you play the scam, I will eliminate one of your family. And that is the fucking truth. Mr. Trump, I will assassinate you. We're at peace. Get ready, Mr. Trump. Every day you play this game, I will eliminate one of your family members. That will be a proven fact.
Elon Musk, my family wants a meeting with you. I promised you a surprise. Get ready, Musk. Here it is.
I can't. That's too disturbing. I'm sorry. That's what the. I'm going to sleep after this. That's just.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for that. I hate you.
Isn't that the perfect representation for the Democrat Party?
Wow.
Right there.
Hey, she's got her eye on you.
Yes.
And not the milky one.
She's gonna wind up in Vogue magazine. She's a hero to the left. Right?
We've got Julie on YouTube. She says, "How do I get off this ride?" And the other comment is, "What is that?"
Oh, you guys are terrible.
Yeah. JG says she looks like a demon.
I'm sure she has a very pleasant personality.
Troy says that's a sight for a sore eye.
Oh man, she's.
Goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the show, everyone. We appreciate it. I'm sorry that Matt subjected you guys to that video right here at bedtime. So if you have trouble sleeping tonight, blame it on Matt. Hey, there's Max. There's the goodest boy. But yeah, we appreciate everybody showing up. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Thank you everyone for the comments. JG, you've got the magic fingers on the AI. Yeah. Or you're just that smart. I don't know. But appreciate everyone.
Patriots. Thank you guys for being patriots. Live in freedom every day. We'll see you next week, okay?
See you next week.